Have you ever gone somewhere or walked into a space and you didn't feel welcome? How about, have you ever gone into a store or walked down the street and felt like someone was watching you? Has someone made fun of the way you speak? Have they said that they can't understand you because you have an accent or what they think is an accent? They probably asked why you talk that way. They probably think the way that you dress is strange or ask you why you wear those clothes. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you've experienced discrimination. Discrimination is when someone is treated badly because they're different from people or groups of people. There are many forms of discrimination. In this video, we're going to look at discrimination and traveling. Specifically, traveling while Black. After the Civil War ended in 1865, many Black people left the South. This was known as the Great Migration, and this migration continued into the 1970s. So Black people left because of violence and racial terrorism that was common in the southern part of the United States. Black families, like John Lewis and his family, who lived in the southern part of the United States, were under constant threat if they spoke out about discrimination or injustice. There were so many instances where people lost their lives. They were murdered for absolutely no reason. There have been many cases where people were killed and their families never received justice. Black people also left the South for better economic opportunities. In the South, people who were once enslaved were now sharecroppers. Sharecropping, as we have seen in the previous videos, was very similar to slavery, if not the same exact thing. You would enter into a cycle of debt where you would have to pay to work and you had to work to pay. There were more opportunities to work and make money in the North than in the South. So, however, I don't want you to think that the North was free of racism. There were things like sundown towns and redlining which plagued the North, and they were some forms of discrimination that Black people faced in the North. Although many Black people moved to the North, many Black people still lived in the South. And people had to travel for work and travel for leisure. People like John Lewis had to travel to see families who were living up north. Ruth and her family had to travel to see family members who were living down south. It was dangerous to travel while being Black. Black people were often harassed while traveling by police, by other drivers, store owners, and other people. It wasn't safe. People were attacked, or even worse, killed. Segregation also prevented Black people from going into the same spaces as white people. If you had been driving for hours and hours and hours, and you came and wanted to stop at a restaurant or a bathroom, there was a chance that you wouldn't be allowed to enter that business or be served because of your skin color, because of your race. Like John Lewis and Ruth, many Black people had to pack enough provisions in case they weren't able to stop. The Green Book was a resource that was a lifesaver for Black travelers. In 1936, an American postal employee had the brilliant idea to create a guidebook that Black people could use as they traveled. This employee was named Victor Hugo Green. It gave travelers a list of hotels, tourist homes, restaurants, beauty parlors, and barbershops that were safe to travel to and visit. The Green Book was crucial. What does this mean for today? Yes, the Green Book was a resource that made travel easier for people. However, it didn't solve the problem of racism and discrimination that many people face as they traveled. Okay, so today, we're living in 2020, people are still experiencing racism and discrimination while they travel. There needs to be more done to ensure that people are traveling freely without harassment and without any type of humiliation. You, yes, you, have a right to travel anywhere in this country freely. You belong and you have rights. Thank you for watching. Peace.